Imagine this. You found the perfect home, a yard for the kids, a quiet neighborhood, a decent school. The price is high, but you've been saving for 3 years. You make an offer and you lose. To whom? A company that paid in cash, 20% above the asking price. No inspection. Closing in 7 days. You thought you were competing with other families? No. You're competing with an algorithm that has $50 billion in its account. Welcome to America in 2025, where the biggest homeowner isn't a person. It's a corporation from Manhattan. Today, we'll break down how Wall Street turned homes into a financial asset that's traded like stocks, and why an entire generation will never own a home. After the crash, millions of homes, no buyers, 2008, 2010. The market is in ruins. 9.3 million families lost their homes. Foreclosures across the country. Prices fell by 30 to 50%. Banks are sitting on mountains of seized properties. Ordinary people are scared. No loans, no jobs. Those who have money are afraid to buy. But while families are licking their wounds, someone sees the opportunity of the century. Enter private equity, 2011-2012. Several major funds, Blackstone through Invitation Homes, Colony Capital, American Homes. For rent, begin buying foreclosed homes by the tens of thousands, not one, by tens of thousands. The scheme is simple. Buy foreclosed homes for 50% of pre-crisis prices, minimal repairs, rent them out. Package the portfolios into REITs, like stocks on the exchange. Collect rent plus stock appreciation. Blackstone bought 50,000 plus homes in 2012, 2013. American Homes for rent, 60,000. By 2015, institutional investors owned 350,000 homes. Why didn't this happen before? 3 factors changed the game. Scale. Hundreds of thousands of homes appeared at once. You could buy in bulk, 100, 500 homes in a single deal. Technology. Software to manage tens of thousands of homes from a single office. Cheap money, the Fed lowered rates almost to zero. Loans at 2 to 3%, returns at 8 to 10%, pure arbitrage. We're helping the market recover. Blackstone in 2013, we're injecting liquidity, stabilizing prices, providing high-quality rental housing. Sounds noble. Now look what happened. First signs of the problem. By 2015, prices began to recover. Phoenix, plus 60% since 2011. Atlanta, plus 45%. Las Vegas, plus 70%. The market is recovering. The media cheered. The nuance, it was not recovering for ordinary buyers. Institutional investors kept buying, driving prices up. Cash offers, fast closings, 10-20% above asking price. A family with a mortgage, an inspection, and a 30-day escrow could not compete. And critically, these corporations were not buying to sell. They were buying forever. Supply shrank, prices rose, rent rose, and millennials entered the market and discovered that the American dream was out of reach. The key moment of transformation. After 2008, a home stopped being a home. It became an asset class. Wall Street sees cash flow, rent, appreciation, price growth, leverage, borrowing against it, tax benefits, portfolio diversification, a home, a ticker on the stock exchange, a line in Excel, a quarterly report for shareholders. Major players, Invitation Homes, Blackstone now public, 80,000 homes, $21 billion market cap, $2,100 average rent, American Homes. 4, rent, 59,000 homes, $14 billion market cap, Progress Residential, Pretium Partners, 80,000 homes, private, aggressive. Plus, Tricon, 38,000, Amherst, 30,000, and hundreds of smaller players. Total, 54,000 homes owned by institutional investors. This is 3% of all rental single-family homes. Why 3% is a disaster. They're locally concentrated. Some Atlanta zip codes, 20 to 30%. Phoenix areas, 15-25%. Charlotte suburbs, up to 35%. When corporations own a quarter of a neighborhood, they control the market. They set prices for both sales and rentals. And these homes disappeared from the for-sale market forever. How they buy? Algorithms versus humans. AI analyzes in milliseconds. Population growth, school quality, employment centers, rental demand, tax rates. If ROI is good, automatic offer, all cash, no inspection, 15% above asking, close in 7 days. A family, they need weeks for mortgage approval, inspection, 30-day escrow, hope that the appraisal matches, click done versus weeks of bureaucracy. Peak madness 2021. Institutional investors bought 1 quarter, 15% of all homes sold. 2 quarter, 18%. 3 quarter, 17%. In hot markets, 25-30%. Every 4th or 5th home did not go to a family. It went to corporations, where the money comes from, part equity, mostly debt. Invitation Homes, $10 billion in debt. They issue bonds secured by rental income, like ABS with auto loans. Layered structure. Bottom. Tenants pay rent. Middle. Corporation collects cash flow. Top. Investors receive interest. All built on assumptions. Tenants pay prices, rise, rents rise. Sound familiar? 2008. Anyone? Portrait of Millennials in 2025. Jessica is 32 years old. She has a college degree and a normal marketing job. She earns $65,000 a year. Her husband makes $58,000. Together, that's $123,000, a solid income for a young couple. They rent an apartment for $2,200 a month. They have been saving for 4 years and managed to put aside $45,000. They finally decided to buy a home. They found a good one. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, price $425,000. With a 7% mortgage, the monthly payment would be around $2,800. With taxes and insurance added, the total becomes about $3,100 per month. They submitted an offer, $425,000, financed 30-day close, inspection. The next day they get a message. Sorry, the home was sold. Someone offered $475,000, all cash, no contingencies. 10-day close, someone simply added $50,000 on top, paid in cash, and won instantly. This happened again and again. 3 months of trying with the same result. After 6 months, they gave up. They continued renting. Their landlord raised the rent by $200 because of market conditions. Millions of young families face the same situation. Why buying a home became almost impossible. 40 years ago, the price of a home was roughly 3 annual incomes of the average household. Today, it is almost 6 annual incomes. Mortgages also became extremely expensive. In 2020, average home price $290,000. Mortgage rate 3% monthly payment, around $1,550. In 2024, average home price $417,000. Mortgage rate 7% monthly payment, nearly $2,950. The monthly payment nearly doubled in just 4 years. Meanwhile, wages increased only 15 to 20%. To save for a down payment, you need more than $83,000. The average family can save about $5,000 per year. That means almost 17 years just to save the down payment. And that's assuming no emergencies, no health problems, no sudden expenses. Student loans, the second hit. Most millennials start adult life already in debt, usually $30,000 to $40,000 in student loans. Their monthly payment is $300 to $500. Money that could go toward buying a home goes toward paying off student debt. And having debt makes it harder to get mortgage approval. Why their parents could buy homes, and they can't. For their parents' generation, college cost $2,000 to $5,000 per year. Homes were priced at about 3 annual incomes. They didn't compete with corporations buying homes in bulk. Stable jobs and pensions, where common millennials, on the other hand, start with $40,000 of debt. Compete with big investors paying cash. Face home prices at 5.6 times annual income. Spend 40% of income on rent. Work in unstable jobs and gig economy. This isn't about working harder. The system itself became inaccessible. Why the situation keeps getting worse? Corporations buy 15 to 20% of all homes. This creates a vicious cycle. Fewer homes for sale, higher prices. Regular buyers lose bidding wars. More people stay renters. Rents keep rising. People save slower, and the cycle repeats. The result, homeownership by age 35. Silent generation, 78%. Baby boomers, 65%. Generation X, 58% millennials. Only 43%. The lowest level since the 1960s. Psychological impact. A home isn't just a building. It represents stability, safety, and a future for your family. When people cannot afford a home, they delay. Marriage. Having children moving, taking career risks, they feel stuck and financially insecure. And this describes an entire generation. Single-family rental securitization, the new CDO. Remember the CDOs from 2008? Banks took mortgages, bundled them, sliced them, and sold them. This is the same thing, but with rent instead of mortgages. How the system works. Invitation Homes owns about 80,000 homes. Average rent, $2,100 per month. Total cash flow, around $2 billion per year. They package this rental income into bonds, SFR, single-family rental securities. They slice these bonds into tranches. AAA, low risk, 4 or 5% return, pension funds. Triple B, medium risk, 6 to 7%, insurance companies. Equity, high risk, 10, 12%, hedge funds. They sell these bonds to investors. With the money raised, they buy even more homes. Since 2013, more than $50 billion worth of SFR securities has been issued. The problem? The risk structure looks almost the same as subprime mortgage CDOs. Rating agencies give AAA ratings based on optimistic models. But what happens if massive unemployment, tenants can't pay rent, a recession, home values fall, new laws, rent growth limits, or eviction restrictions? The models say unlikely. History says anything can happen. There's also a financial incentive to never sell homes, more rental income, higher value of rental-backed securities, rent-backed leverage, debt stacked on debt. Big landlords don't stop at one layer of debt. They use rental income as collateral, borrow $5 billion, buy 30,000 homes, securitize the rental income, borrow again. Leverage on top of leverage on top of leverage. This system only works as long as tenants pay rent, home prices rise, interest rates stay low, if even one piece breaks. Flashback to 2008. Lehman Brothers had 30.1 leverage. Home prices fell 20%, collapse. Current SFR landlords, 8.1 to 12.1 leverage. Lower than Lehman, but still risky. A 15-20% drop in home prices would put many of these companies underwater. Algorithmic rent increases, AI sets, rent prices using comparable home prices, seasonal demand, tenant turnover risk, local employment trends, competitor pricing. The algorithm recommends the highest rent the market will tolerate. But here's the problem. Most large landlords use the same software, often RealPage or Yardi. The algorithms talk to each other. They coordinate pricing without any direct collusion. In 2023, the U.S. Department of Justice launched an investigation into RealPage for possible algorithm-driven price fixing. Basically, a cartel disguised as AI. Extraction versus value creation. Traditional landlord owns 2 to 5 homes, knows tenants personally, handles repairs locally, reinvests in the community. Corporate landlord, centralized system, call centers in another state, minimal maintenance, maximum extraction. The goal isn't to provide housing. The goal is to maximize quarterly returns for shareholders. And who are those shareholders? Major investors in Invitation Homes, American Homes. 4 rent and similar companies. Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, billionaire family offices. The irony? Your own 401k might be investing in companies that make homeownership unaffordable for you. Trajectory without change. What 2035 looks like if nothing is done. If everything stays the same, here's the picture in 10 years. Owning a home will become almost impossible. Millennials, now 30-45, home ownership rate drops from today's 43% to 35-40%. Gen Z, now 15-30. No more than 30% will own a home by 2035. Corporations will own millions of houses. Right now, big investment funds and companies own about 570,000 single-family homes. By 2035, that number reaches 1.5 to 2 million homes. 6 to 8% of all single-family houses in the country. In major metro areas, Atlanta, Phoenix, Austin, corporations will own 30-40% of all homes. Entire neighborhoods and suburbs will be 100% owned by just 2 to 3 companies. Rent will eat half your income. Rent keeps going up 5 to 8% every year. For millennials and Gen Z, 50 to 60% of monthly income will go just to housing. Massive wealth gap between generations. Today's boomer retirees, average net worth around $1.2 million, mostly home equity. Millennials at retirement age, 60 plus. Only $200,000, $300,000, almost none of it in real estate. This is basically feudalism 2.0. One group pays rent forever, the other, corporations, accumulates houses generation after generation. What it does to society, communities fall apart. Homeowners care about their neighborhood, schools, streets, local politics. Renters can be kicked out or move anytime. Why invest in a place you might leave tomorrow? Even fewer kids. People have children when they have stable housing, a yard, good schools nearby, and a rented apartment with the constant fear of, what if the lease isn't renewed? It's almost impossible. U.S. birth rates are already at historic lows. Unaffordable housing is a big reason. Political explosion. An entire generation realizes the American dream is permanently closed to them. Anger, blame, radical parties, and protests. History shows this always ends badly. What you can do right now, personal level, move away from the hottest markets. Phoenix, Atlanta, Charlotte, Austin. Already insane. Midwest and Rust Belt cities, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Omaha, are 2 figures less cheaper, and many are coming back to life. Remote work makes it possible. Use low down payment programs. FHA loan only 3.5% down. Yes, you pay mortgage insurance, but it gets you in the door. Many states have grants and special loans for first-time buyers. House hacking. Buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. Live in one unit, rent the rest. Tenants pay most or all of your mortgage. Co-ops and community land trusts. Alternative ownership models that are much cheaper than the regular market. What needs to change at the country level? Tax on corporate ownership of homes. Canada already has a 1% annual tax on corporate and foreign-owned houses. Cap how many homes investors can own in any market, 5 to 10% max. Give regular families first right to buy so they can match or beat investor offers. Ban rent price-fixing software like RealPage. Build millions of new homes. The U.S. has underbuilt by 5 to 7 million units since 2008. Reform zoning laws. Give builders incentives. Restart public tasks, municipal housing programs. Why nothing changes? Massive lobbying. The real estate industry spends over $100 million a year to keep the status quo. Most members of Congress are homeowners themselves. Rising prices make them richer. Boomers who got rich off housing are still in charge, and Dun-T want the game to change. The problem is complicated. Every solution has side effects, and politicians hate taking the blame. Bottom line, if nothing changes, in 10 years, most young Americans will be lifelong renters paying corporations that own the country one house at a time. This isn't just houses are expensive anymore. It's a complete restructuring of society. What does this mean for you? If you're a millennial or Gen Z, the truth is, it's harder for you than it was for your parents. It's not your fault. This is a structural problem, but don't lose hope. Home ownership is harder, but not impossible. Look for alternative housing markets. Take advantage of assistance programs. Be creative. House hacking. Co-buying with friends. Save aggressively. Live below your means. If you're a boomer, understand that your children and grandchildren face a reality you didn't. Just work harder doesn't work when the system has changed. Support policy changes, even if they might lower the value of your home. The future matters more than short-term gains. If you're a politician or regulator, though you probably aren't watching YouTube videos about the housing crisis, history will judge you by whether you fix this problem or let it fester. A systemic perspective. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Modern capitalism is increasingly built on rent extraction, not value creation. You don't own the house, you rent. You don't own the car, you lease or subscribe. You don't own the software, subscription. You don't own the music or movies, streaming. Ownership is being replaced with perpetual payments. Good for corporations, predictable recurring revenue. Bad for people. Wealth doesn't accumulate. The housing crisis is not just a problem by itself, it's a symptom of a broader economic transformation. What happens next? Honestly, no one knows. Maybe reforms will come in 10 years. Maybe the system will crash like in 2008. Maybe we will slowly become a nation of permanent renters. But one thing is certain. When an entire generation is blocked from achieving what previous generations considered a basic right, something breaks. Either the system changes or society breaks, my advice. Don't wait for someone else to solve this problem. Regulators are slow, politicians are often influenced. Corporations benefit from the status quo. Do what you can personally. But most importantly, talk about it, share your stories, create pressure. Change happens when enough people see the problem and demand solutions. If this video opened your eyes, like, share, and help someone understand why they can't buy a home. It's not their fault. See you in the next video, where we might explore how corporations are monopolizing another sector of the economy. Because housing is just the beginning.